New question, the member from Perth-Wellington.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is for the Minister of Finance. By cancelling the slots at racetrack program, the government left the horse racing industry a shadow of its former self. Racetracks, horsemen, and local economies are still struggling. The deaths of 13,000 horses and the loss of thousands of jobs rest on the shoulders of this government. Speaker, instead of apologizing, the government plowed ahead with its misguided modernization program. It's going to put even more of the industry out of business. Ontario Racing has a plan that could bring some stability. Speaker, we still need to remember the proposed funding will not come close to the previous revenue-sharing agreement. Uncertainty will persist. Speaker, will the minister ease that uncertainty and commit today to keeping the doors open at all 15 of our racetracks?
Thank you. Minister of Finance. Be seated, please. Be seated, please. Thank you. Minister of Finance.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I appreciate the question, and I think we all appreciate that we want a very sustained horse racing industry in the province of Ontario, and it's why we have made a commitment for long-term sustainability of the horse racing industry. We've taken steps to support a stable industry by providing the appropriate funding, by extending the government's $100 million annual funding program by 2 years, Mr. Speaker. And OLC and the OLG will establish a future long-term funding arrangement with the industry. And as I said, Mr. Speaker, we've also passed legislation to integrate the operations of the Ontario Racing Commission with the OLG and the Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario, all of which promotes and allows the industry to benefit from a centralized marketing resource and its expertise to expose more Ontarians to the thrills of horse racing. We are taking every step necessary to provide a sustainable industry because we're partnering with that industry in an appropriate manner, Mr. Speaker, in conjunction with members of the industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker. It's obvious the minister has not spoken to anybody in the horse racing business. If the minister is truly serious about the future of horse racing, why did he make it such an insignificant part of his modernization plan? Speaker, this government seems determined to create winners and losers, but mostly losers. Funding or no funding, the losers seem to be the smaller tracks and those who rely on them. If the government allows slots to leave tracks, racing areas like Ajax Downs will be in jeopardy. That could spell the end of the quarter horse racing in Ontario. Speaker, does the minister believe it's modern to wipe out a vital industry in rural areas?
Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, it's vital to provide the appropriate supports to maintain long-term sustainability of the horse racing industry, and that is why we are very much working in conjunction with the stakeholders from the horse racing industry to provide us the recommendations necessary to move forward, Mr. Speaker. And we all recognize that we want a much more broadened and more effective racing industry in the communities across Ontario. It's why we've taken the steps that we've taken. It's why we've made the commitments for long-term funding. It is why the horse racing industry is working with the province of Ontario. And, Mr. Speaker, it is why we're taking their recommendations in the recommendations that we make and put forward at this time. Thank you.
Question, the member from Oshawa.